welcome to the Grey Nomad Knits episode 2. I hope you've all been well since I last spoke to you 2 weeks ago. We've been absolutely flat out, running around after a very sick father-in-law who's now in hospital, but hopefully care is going to be organised for him soon and we can sort of get back to some sense of normalcy. But anyway, just to introduce myself, my name is Jill and I'm coming to you from Perth, Western Australia, and you can find me on Instagram as JillyMG60, that's 60, or on Ravelry as JillyMG, and I'll try and remember to put that on the screen for you. I might even try and do some show notes today in the description box. We'll see how I go. As normal with knitting podcasters, we always, as in Amy Florence, channeling Amy, like to do a bit of a weather forecast. And here in Perth in Western Australia, we're all having a bit of a moan because it's supposed to be autumn, and yesterday it was 40, that's 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's hot. Today is a lot cooler. It's only going to be 35 degrees today, but it's very cloudy and overcast and extremely humid, and I think we're in for some rain tomorrow. We're planning to go away in our caravan on Friday down to Albany for 2 weeks, or for about 1.5 weeks. The staff at the hospital have assured us it's okay to go, that John's dad is being left in excellent care and he really needs a break. He's been running around so much, so we're going to go and we're just going to try and have a really good time for 9 or 10 days. Okay, so into the knitting, and what have I been up to? I don't have any finished objects to show you because the projects I'm working on, as you would have noticed the last time, are all long-term projects that are taking a while, but I have added a little bit to all of them. And as I mentioned last week, my main priority is getting my Marie Wallin blanket finished in time for my daughter's birthday in June. That's going to get a lot of work done on it when we go down to Albany at the end of the week. That will be mostly my knitting time down there. So firstly I want to show you my my crochet blanket, and I really wish I hadn't started this now when I did, because then I could have entered it in the Fruity Knitting Crochet Cal. But I think there's too much of it done now to really enter it, so I'll just show you instead. So this is the Sweet Pea crochet along from the wonderful Lucy at Attic 24. I think last time I showed it to you I was just around this area here somewhere, and now I've added quite a few more colours. I'm getting into the really deep colours now. I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through, so it shouldn't take too much longer. I just try and do 2 colours or 2 stripes, so there's 2 stripes there of the same colour. Try and do 2 stripes a day. Any more than that and my bad finger gets a bit sore, so I have to then have a break for a little while and then take up the knitting needles. I did go to the specialist about my sore finger since I last spoke to you, and the arthritis I have is osteoarthritis, totally inherited from my mother. Thanks, Mum. And there's nothing they can do about it, but he said the pain will subside once all the whatever's happening to the joints finishes. This finger doesn't hurt at all anymore, although a few years ago it was very painful. So he said this finger, which is the one giving me all the trouble, he said the pain will go, I've just got to be patient. I didn't even suggest that I give up knitting, and he didn't either, so you know, just work through the pain. So this is my blanket. It's going to be huge when it's finished. That's doubled over, and I'm probably not going to take proper photos of it until it's all finished. Then I can surprise you all. So that's, and look, if anyone's starting crochet, Lucy's patterns are wonderful. She has picture tutorials all to guide you through every step of the way. And this pattern is very easy and simple, and if you make a mistake you can simply fudge it in the next row to correct it, and it won't affect your stitch count. So her patterns are wonderful and I would highly recommend them to anyone starting off in crochet. Okay. The next project I want to show you is the progress I'm making on my Katherine Howard cardigan by Alice Starmore. And I think last time I showed you this I had started the sleeves, but they were both on separate needles. and I was about to put them on the one needle so I could work on both of them together, and I've done that now, and once again I am in a tangle, and believe it or not, these are both on one needle. Don't know if I can, I've got all these bobbins, I'll show you in a minute. So I've added a little bit to that. I'm also going to take this to Albany with me. It's going to be lovely when it's wrapped around the arms. You can see a bit like that how it's going to look. I'm really enjoying it. It's been such a challenge, but the worst is now done. I'm on the homeward stretch. Believe it or not, this part, look at all those bobbins. The worst part is done. All this bit down here and adding this bit and doing this infill section, they're the most fiddly and time consuming parts. Now that I'm just up into the main pattern on the sleeves, it's going a lot quicker. If I show you the other side, in a tangle, you can see how it's all done using intarsia. So there's no threads no yarns floats being carried across. And I've got some on pegs, and I've got some wound into bobbins. I think I tried to do this the way lovely Andrea from Fruity Knitting showed in a tutorial once, but I don't think I managed it quite as well as her, because they do keep coming undone. These are actually two different colours. I don't know if you can see, but when I'm working on this at night time and the light is not that great, it's hard to tell them apart. So that's why I've wound this colour onto pegs and this colour as is, so that I don't get them mixed up. So that's how it's coming on. And then we also have the little, another colour, a different colour again. You can just see this little bobble here. That's done in a different blue again. So each one of those is just done with a strip of yarn about this long, probably cut about 15 to 18 centimetres. And you just do that, and then at the end, a couple of rows further on, I then wind in, I then sew in the ends from it so it doesn't come adrift. I don't want 2,000 ends to sew in at the end of this, so I am trying to manage them every 3 or 4 rows. They do untangle quite easily, but I don't do it till I'm about to start a row, because when I put them in my bag, they just get tangled again. My daughter is staying with us for a few nights while she is getting new floorboards put in her unit. And as I can't work on that beautiful blanket while she's here, because, you know, it's the surprise, surprise birthday present, I worked on this last night. Now, she was looking at all this tangle and said, Mum, when you finish, you should, you know, hang it on a coat, like a skirt coat hanger with clips, so that all the bobbins hang down, they don't get tangled. And she's pretty smart, and that's probably what I should do, but you know, at the end of the night, it just gets shoved in my bag. But I might try it next time. We'll see what happens. I'll just put that down there out of the way. My next project I want to show you is my Softly Cardigan by Hanna Maciejewska, you know, that one. I'm so sorry, Hannah. I'm sure you're not watching anyway, but if you ever do watch, I'd love to know how to pronounce your name, because I really would like to do you justice, because your designs are beautiful, and since I've been doing this one and loved it so much, it is such a well-written pattern, no mistakes in it, very easy to understand, and I've now gone through and put a few more of Hannah's in my queue. So this is the back of my cardigan. This bit up here is the lovely collar that will be around the back of my neck. This is the back section, and then it comes down to a little bit less lace, and then it just goes down into a reverse stocking stitch. Can you see that? Yes. So I'm really loving how this is knitting up. I'll show you the front. I did tell you all about the yarns last week. This is lovely Jumbuck yarn by Dingo Dye Works in the Coolgardie colourway, and it is actually still available on the Dingo Dye Works website if you're interested in purchasing some. So this is the front, so it's going to be just a loose cardigan. Although I'm thinking of putting just one button, because I don't like, if you're walking, especially if we go for a visit into our city, there's one particular street there that's like a wind tunnel, and I hate cardigans blowing around and flapping about, so I thought I might just put one lovely big, I don't know, wooden maybe button in the middle, just so I can keep it from, you know, blowing all open and everything. if we're in the city or somewhere. So that's how that one's come on. I have done quite a little bit of that since I last spoke to you, and I'm just loving it. I think the light's a bit better in here today. I'm in my new craft room. It's not quite finished yet because we've still got to get the blinds put up at the windows, but it's really lovely, and I've got all my wool unpacked, and I'm a bit flabbergasted at how much I've collected. So I'm not buying any this year, except for in July when we go to Sydney. I'm going to Skein Sisters, and I have some lovely wool there to do the main part of a jumper, and I just want to pick 1 or 2 colours to do some colour work. So I'll just be getting that, and I always buy a souvenir skein of sock yarn. And then we're going to, after Sydney, we're going down to Tasmania, and I will probably visit the Tasmanian Wool Centre in Ross. And I might have a look to see if I can get a jumper weight quantity of white gum wool, because that is absolutely beautiful, and it is Tasmanian, and I'm originally from Tasmania, and I do like to support the local industries. But apart from those, that's it. I'm not buying any more. So I'm really enjoying this, but it is on the back burner a little bit now until I get that blanket done. This is my beautiful lace wrap I'm doing by Nancy Bush out of her Estonian lace book, and I have put a little bit more on. Ooh, I've got some of my Marie Wallin yarn caught on there. This is coming on so beautifully. I don't know how well it's showing up. It's going to obviously block out to be a lot wider than what it's showing on the needles, but you can get a pretty good look at that lace now with the light shining on it from the window. It's really coming on, and I'm really happy with it. I do still have to concentrate a bit when I'm doing it, but what I've discovered now is not to rush my rows, just to take each one slowly, especially the rows with the noops, these, and the ones with the little bullseyes, which are here, one there and another one just there. See the bullseyes? They're just beautiful. This is the Empire 2-ply. I didn't get any of my yarn labels out today. Empire from Morris & Sons 2-ply. It's their lace weight, and it's a soft grey colour. I'll try and remember. Sorry about that. That was husband giving me a call just to let me know he's got some post coming, and could I keep an ear out for the doorbell going. He has a hobby too, which I might show you a bit of in my next podcast, where he collects toy soldiers and makes these amazing dioramas. But I've now got to keep the door open so I can hear if the postman arrives, and you're going to now hear the washing machine, so I hope it's not too noisy. Okay, so I was showing you my lace wrap by Nancy Bush. I would recommend anyone give lace knitting a try. It's not as hard as you think. If you can knit and you can purl, you can do this. You've just got to have a little bit more patience, and I would suggest when you're starting a project like this off, you also have time and space to be able to concentrate. Once you get into the swing of the pattern, you can read your knitting, you can see where you're going wrong and correct it straight away. I can see now when I'm doing a row if I'm supposed to be making one of these, and I can tell immediately if I'm at the wrong place in the row, and I can go back and correct it straight away. So I'm really enjoying this. It's going to be lovely to wear around my shoulders in the summer here if we go out to for a meal and the air conditioning's a bit cold. So I'm really enjoying it, and I would highly recommend Nancy Bush's book. It's absolutely beautiful, and some lovely, lovely patterns in there. Okay, the last project I want to show you is the progress on the surprise blanket. Oh, this is epic. Try doing this in 40-degree heat. Honestly, I must be mad. But anyway, I thought, well, may as well have a look at the wrong side while I'm at it. This is the wrong side. I'm really happy with my floats. I'm trying not to pull the yarn too tight because I don't want it to all pucker up. And that's just the only seam there. The rest is all stitches that are picked up or put on waste yarn. I'm still working on section 7, which I think I had just started when I spoke to you last. It is quite long. I thought it was only about 50 rows, but it's actually 78, I think. I haven't got a lot left to go. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, absolutely beautiful. I love these strips with the avocado and the ginger yarn. It's really coming on. I'm happy with it. I have taken a couple of photos on my outdoor seat so you can get a better view of it, and I'll try and insert those. Not sure how, this is actually now the second video because when hubby rang, my video recording stopped. So I've got to work out how to link them both together, but I think I'll manage. So I'm really enjoying this. I've got stitch markers to signify each pattern repeat so that I can see straight away if I have made an error, because some of the yarns are quite similar in colour, so it's good to have something to keep track with. When this section's finished, this will all go on waste yarn, and then I'll pick up stitches from one of the other ends and do the next strip. After this one I have 3 more sections to go, and then the border, but the border on this one is a lot easier than the border on the last Fairisle blanket I did. This is the Marie Wallin Fairisle Club number 2. They are limited edition, you can't get them anymore, but I think there is, then I think Fairisle Club number 3 and 4 were jackets, and now I think Marie is working on a new one, another Fairisle Club, and it's going to be another blanket, but in her own colours, in her own yarns this time, and the colour sample she posted on Instagram a few weeks ago just looked divine. So I'm going to have to start saving up because I don't think I'll be able to resist that one. That one can be for me. So I'll just give you a little look. I can't see what you can see, but I will put a photo in so that you can see it better. So that is all my works in progress. Hoping to get loads done on that blanket while we're in Albany, and I'm also going to take my Katherine Howard with me and might get a bit of that done as well. Now I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of other things. You'll see I'm going to probably put some photos in here. Of the stash over there in my wardrobe. It is massive. I have got it all written on a spreadsheet, and what I'm going to do is, because I love every skein of wool in there, and every skein of wool that I have bought is for a particular project. I don't just buy things for the sake of, oh, that's pretty yarn. I have to have a project in mind, otherwise I think it's a bit wasteful and it just sits there. So I've made up an Excel spreadsheet and I've got all my wool listed on it, and I know exactly what box it's in, although I have got one box I haven't found yet since we unpacked it all. But apart from that, I know where everything is. So when I'm ready to cast on a new project, I'm going to go to my spreadsheet and I'm going to use lovely random generator, random.com or whatever it is, or org, and I'm going to let the computer pick which next project I will be making. I don't only have my yarns listed on my spreadsheet, I also have probably up to about 20 dream knits that I would really love to do. So some of them I can use some of my stash wool for, some of them I may have to purchase some wool. But I think that's going to be a really exciting way of doing it, and I thought what I would do is select my next project while we're here doing a podcast. But that will be a little while yet because I have to finish all these projects I'm working on first. One of my dream knitting projects is going to be using this beautiful, oh, look what I got. I love it so much. This is the new Nightshades yarn by Harrisville Yarns, and the beautiful, lovely shop we have in Sydney, Skein Sisters, got in a big purchase and big order of this. So I ordered 10 skeins of this, I'm going to make a cardigan, and I'm going to make the Rhinecliff Cardigan by Valerie Hobbs. I will try and put a photo in if I remember. If not, you can look it up on Ravelry. What I like about this cardigan is, and most people watching this will be aghast that I'm going to say this. They'll be throwing their hands up in horror. This cardigan is done in pieces, as far as I'm aware, and seamed. Now, I actually prefer this way of knitting one of the reasons is because I find garments so heavy to manoeuvre with my sore fingers when they're getting to 3/4 finished, when it's all in one piece on your lap. So I find knitting individual pieces much easier on my wrists and my fingers. The second reason is it just gets so darn hot here in Perth, and having all that weight of a jumper on your lap is not that pleasant in the middle of summer. And if we only knitted here things like this in the cooler months, we'd never get anything done because it's only cool here for about 8 to 10 weeks. The rest is all warm. So I'm really looking forward to it. But those 8 to 10 weeks, it does get cold, and I will get lots of wear out of this. And also we're planning, overseas trips in the next few years, so we will get wear out of it then. And we, trips to Tasmania in the winter. It gets cold there in the winter, so that it will be lots of opportunities to wear it. This yarn is black. I wanted a black cardigan, but what I love about it is it's got flecks of a different colour in it. I don't know if you can see. You can see the purple flecks. And this shade is called Talk Radio is the colourway I got. So I shall try and remember now. I'm going to put a photo in of that pattern, and I hope you like it as much as I do. I'm certainly looking forward to casting it on. Something else I just wanted to mention was that I think you all know that I love watching the Fruity Knitting podcast. I think it's just so inspirational and educational. I have learnt so many techniques and ideas from watching Andrea. I could never hope to be as wonderful a knitter as she is, especially the way she can modify things to fit her so beautifully. And even with the way Andrew knits, his expertise is blowing me away as well. One of the things I love about their podcast, Fruity Knitting, is that they showcase designers from all around the world. And they also showcase knitters from all around the world. And a couple of episodes ago, they showcased a lovely lady called Constance, who's from, forgive me, Constance, somewhere in America. She is incredible. She has got the most divine figure with a tiny little waist. So she makes these beautiful little crop top cardigans that she wears with these amazing dresses that she sews herself. She has got a podcast, and it's called Stitching Over the Days. And I recommend that probably everybody watching this is already watching her anyway. But if you're not, pop over and have a look, because she is so inspirational, so talented, so clever, and how she manages her time, I just don't know. So that's Constance. She's Cleo CMC on Instagram, and Stitching Over the Days is the name of her podcast, so I would highly recommend going over and having a look. Okay, I think that's about it for today. I hope you're all keeping well. For everyone else in Perth, I hope our weather cools down soon. And for everyone in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope your weather starts to warm up for you. I'm looking forward to my trip down to Albany at the end of the week. Hopefully get lots of knitting done. And yeah, I'll talk to you when we get back. So bye for now, and happy knitting.